Alright, so moving to the hands section. You can turn the hands completely on or off right here. We've got 3 hand styles to choose from. Standard, which is the kind of long pointed hands. Modern, which is more of a blocky style. And antique, which looks like a grandfather clock or a Roman numeral clock. That works really well for that. I'll go ahead and put it on modern. That's my favorite. You can control the hour and minute hands, the color of the hour and minute hands. Let's just make them blue, for example. And the second hand, you can change the color right here. I actually have, let's go ahead and make it red, but we won't see it yet. Because if you look below, each hand has its own opacity slider. So you have the minute hand, the hour hand, and the second hand. Now we've thrown the second hand into the mix, and it's going to move really fast with somewhat unexpected results because it's a literal translation of how fast it should be moving depending on what you've got set up for your animation here. So if your minute hand is going around fairly quickly, that means the second hand will be going around 60 times as fast. So you can get that effect where on TV commercials, you might see a car tire spinning backwards. I forget the name of that effect. There's a name for that. Somebody go look that up. What else do we have here? We have a little shadow you can turn on and off. I didn't put a whole bunch of controls in there because I kind of figured the face of the clock is right there. There's not a whole bunch of changes you would make to that. But if you wanted to do like a flat look clock where you've eliminated this entire bevel and maybe it's just a color and some hands, then you'd probably want to take the shadow off. I'll leave it on for now. And I'm going to go ahead and take the second hand off. Oh, well, we'll leave it on for a second because there is one more thing. This little circle right here in the middle. This is the center circle color. And you can make that match the second hand. That's usually best. I just dragging the color from the second hand up here down to this box right here. So now it looks like you've got, sort of, there it goes, it's going backwards. It's not actually going backwards. But now it looks like, part of the clock. You can actually change this circle. And this is great for, perhaps you don't want the second hand, but you want to have a little design in the middle, just a circle, for example. I don't know. We'll bring it back down though. And in fact, we will make that the same color as the hands. We could just turn it off right here with the center circle opacity. So just about everything has its own little opacity or color control. Alright, the tick marks. You can get kind of creative here with the tick marks. You can choose from 2 styles, a rectangle. I know they look like a little line, but they are just a stretched out rectangle, or circles. And now we've turned them into kind of a more modern circular look. For the moment, let's go back to rectangle. We can change the opacity, basically turn them off. We can change their color. We could, bring it up to red. We can change their size, which is actually their length. And we can change the width, make them thicker. Now, the same goes with the minute styles. You can make them a circle. You can put them back on rectangle. You can change their opacity. You can change their color. Let's make them green. Why not? You can change their width, which by default, they're pretty wide already. This is there's a lot of range in this control, and by default I've got it at 400%, the widest. But you can click here and drag. This is where you can get a little bit artistic. Keep dragging to where their width is. What do we got here? 3,500%. And just like you can control the position on either one of these, it's just like you can control the position of the highlight, which is its distance from the center. You can control the position of the hour tick marks. We can even bring them outside the clock. And you can control the position of the minute tick marks. So we've made them super wide so it forms kind of a ring. We can bring that ring in if you wanted to for a little design. And then maybe we decided the rectangle hour tick marks need to be circles. We're getting all fancy. When the minute tick marks or the hour tick marks are set to circle, you lose one control, the width. It does nothing in this when it's a circle. The size controls the diameter of the circle, which is the reason I called it size instead of length for the rectangles, because it's kind of a dual purpose slider. Okay, so we'll leave that as circles. Why not? If we were to switch the minute ticks to circles right now, I don't know what would happen. Ah, that's kind of neat. But we'll leave it as a rectangle, so it's kind of a decorative ring. And you can do quite a lot here in design, but let's move on to the numbers. Right now we've got the numbers off. They're off by default. I'll go ahead and turn them on. How about we'll just turn on all numbers. You can change the font. Let's see. Some fonts work better than others just due to the natural sizing and kerning. Some just don't work at all. I'll try we'll try Avenir next. And oh, we got a lot of options for that. How about heavy, bold? How about medium metallic? That looks kind of fun, and we're kind of making a kind of a cartoony clock here. You can change their position just like the others. You can move them out. So we could move them. Can't see them because they're black. Let's go ahead and change the color to, say, orange. Yeah. So now we can move their position out, kind of beyond the clock here. Other choices for numbers, a little more modern, would be only 12, 3, 6, and 9, which essentially masks out the two numbers in between each one of those. Stopwatch is another choice. We can get into that in just a second. I might want to reset the whole thing for that. You can turn the numbers off, or you can also use Roman. Roman, I think more fonts work for Roman just by the nature of how they're spread out over a circle. That's versus these numbers here that they're in a circle, but they have to stay horizontal. So let's go to Roman here. In Roman, you'd probably want to change your hands to something a little more elegant. So we would change it to the antique hands. We definitely wouldn't use circles. And you can see where you're going with that.